with the internet. Uh, y'all come back in, and if not, then I'll keep on going. Uh, I had got cut off earlier talking about Bronny James, Bronny James, and some other things. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. Uh, Nonetheless, let's get right to it. All right. Now, earlier, what I was saying is I do feel like Bronny James, um, if he does transfer, it's not going to be as easy as we think. Okay. Now, let's say he does go to, let's say he goes to a, a team or a program where it's not as popular. Let's say he goes to a smaller school. He may have a chance to start and get acclimated, go over there, ball out and everything, and it could potentially raise his draft stock. But you're also taking a risk too, because you got to look at the fact of when he when he came from USC. They were banking on the fact that Bronny would ball out, like he had all these unfair expectations on him, and they were unfair because him coming out of high school. I thought he was decent, but he could have been a lot better. But I didn't think that he was quite ready for the NBA. But then again, I'm not a I'm not a scout. I'm not an NBA executive, and certainly don't have the type of pull necessary like a LeBron James. Um, Here's the thing, man. When I look at Bronny James, and I look at the totality of his game, him transferring and him going to like another major program, it's only going to it's only going to make things a lot more challenging, because then you're going to another program, and when you go to that other program, and let's say you have so many guys competing for the same spot that you got, and everybody is going to feel like, okay, well, the only reason that you got this spot is because your your dad is LeBron James, and because of who your name, what the last name is and everything, and you got a lot of money to slide up under the table to go ahead and slide you up in there. And a lot of kids, or a lot of young guys are going to be feeling like that. So he's our let's just basically say that he has a target on his back not only when he goes to the NBA, or, or if he does make it to the NBA, but he's already got a target in his back or on his back in college. He's already coming in with a target on his back, regardless of everything that had went on with the cardiac arrest situation and all of that. Those guys don't care about that. You know, I mean, to be real with you, you still got savages out there that want to embarrass you, that want to. They don't care if your dad is LeBron James, and as a matter of fact, they want to make sure that you are LeBron James' son, just so that they could go ahead and do everything to sabotage you and to embarrass you. What's up with it, Ted? Sorry about earlier, bro. Had some internet problems, but we still rolling strong. But like I said, man, the expectations that are put on Bronny James are really unfair. At this point, you got to be like, okay, he's just a kid, you know. Well, he's a young man, you know what I'm saying, and he can make. And LeBron James is right; he's a young man; he can make his own decision. But we don't want him to. Okay, this is what some people think too. They think that. All right, sorry about that, man. I don't know what YouTube is doing, but yeah, the firstborn. The firstborn is what's up with it, Seth? Being the firstborn is rough, you know, because you have a lot of a lot of expectations. But like if I'm this is what like I told y'all. For one, you know, you still gotta the work doesn't stop. You being in another program, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's gonna be your shortcut to to the NBA, because you still gotta put the work in. And let's just face the facts, man. Uh, you got a lot of guys that are getting ready to, you know, that are coming out that are just much better, man, and have much more talent. Um, I know it's interesting though because Keyshawn Johnson, he was saying that just because you go to another school and then you put up like 12 points or something like that, that doesn't automatically make you ready for the NBA. Basically, what he was saying is that, you know, how are you getting those how are you benefiting by getting those 12 points? Is that going to be an impactful 12 points along with filling up your stat sheet? And do you have something that stands out? Like okay, you look at, let's say you look at a guy like DJ Burns. It stands out. Okay, DJ Burns stands out because of one, because of his size already. He has an imposing size. Uh, Not only have college coaches have said this, there have been NBA executives talking about him. There have been NBA coaches talking about him. You got NBA players talking about him. You got Jokic talking about him, talking about how he has exceptional footwork for his size. And they also look at the fact of how big he is. I think one of the coaches was like, you know, he's 6'10", and he has the body of a William the Refrigerator Perry, but yet alone he can still move like a ballerina, meaning that he has quick feet, and it stands out. Not only that, what else stands out about DJ Burns is the fact that they are 11 seed, okay, and they're playing in the Final Four with house money. So we gotta look at it. We gotta look at it like that. You have to do something that really stands out to um, these NBA scouts and these executives to say, okay, yeah, you're ready for the NBA. It can't just be, okay, yeah, you're LeBron James' son. It can't be any of that, because then you're actually you're setting up a lot of these teams actually for failure, because it's gonna be another circus show. They're gonna be like, and every game is gonna be, all the cameras, all the lights, all of that stuff, that LeBron James, let's say, like when LeBron James had first played his NBA game, it was all on LeBron because of the heavy expectations that they had on LeBron. Now he did live up to the hype. You got to give LeBron that. He did live up to the hype, but the thing about it is that LeBron was a much more supremely gifted athlete coming out of high school. He was much more sought after coming out of high school. Bronny James is not. He's gonna have a tougher road. I'll put it to you like that. And with his brother Bryce James exceeding him in height, you got to look at it from that aspect too. So would he be willing to go to a place? Let's say he transfers to Ohio State. Then he'll be there with his brother. He'll be there with his brother, Bryce James. If Bryce James, because that I think that's what Bryce James is aiming for. He's aiming to go to Ohio State, if I'm not mistaken. But if you go to these other schools, like these big schools, these other big schools, like like in Kansas, or you got to play for Big Self, Bill Self. If you go to a Duke or whatever, if you go to Kentucky, if you're going, because Coach Calipari is still going to stay. He hasn't. He's still going to stay, man. I was looking to see if Bill Self is still going to stay. But those coaches don't care about whose son you are. They don't care. They don't care about none of that. They want to know, are you going to be able to benefit this benefit this program and win some games? And of course, you got to get the money aspect involved too. But you shouldn't have to worry about that, especially when you talk about the NIL money. So I look at it. I look at it like that. And see, another thing is too. Um, you got to look at what you averaged going from USC to another program. They're going to be like, okay, well, you don't have any you don't have any privileges really to chill. Now I could see if you were going to if you were averaging, let's say, about 15 or something like that, then yeah, they'll be like, okay, yeah, we'll be happy to have him. He has the potential to start or something like that. But more than likely, if he does transfer, I would go to like a smaller school, ball out. Yeah, you might take some criticism because, okay, the strength of the schedule is probably not as big as a USC, but nevertheless, you're still going to be able to put some numbers. You still be able to get some time and stuff. But their other argument is probably going to be, okay, well, you didn't put in. Okay, when they did put you in, you weren't really benefiting us that much. The only thing that they can say about you is that, okay, you're LeBron James' son and everything, but you get past that, it's like, okay, what else can you benefit? That's why I'm saying now you got to use that off season. You got to use this off season um, to your advantage, and that's what I would do. That's what I would do. And hold on one second, y'all. Okay. Oh, okay. I could see y'all. I could see y'all comments. My bad, y'all. I couldn't even see y'all comments. What's up with it, Matt Moses? I see you in here. Uh, favorite LeBron James moment? You said he might be in China if he doesn't get better. Right? He gonna have to go to a small team like they can use. Listen, Matt Moses. This is what you got to understand, man. All right. This is what you have to understand. I'm not. You know what? Bronny James does have potential to get better, man. Okay. Bronny James does have potential to get better. Let's not make no mistake about it. Um, because we're laughing at it now, but let's say he comes back and he proves everybody wrong. And honestly, I kind of want to see that because all of the scrutiny and all of this stuff that he's getting, I think it's unfair to him. And it's because of his dad and the pressure of him playing with his dad and all of that stuff. I think it's unfair to him. If he does play in China or he plays in a little team like that or whatever, he ain't got no other choice but to get better. But right now, he can do it. He can do it. He's got the tools necessary. Okay, he's got the tools necessary. He's in a good situation and he's got a good support system. We can't look at it like, okay, yeah, this guy, because it was 1 year. It was 1 year, Matt Moses, 1 year where really he didn't have a training camp up under his belt. The dude, the man, this guy literally was dead, and they had to resuscitate him, bring him back to life. We're talking about his heart. Okay, we're not talking about a broken bone. We're not talking about, you know what I'm saying, a broken finger and none of that other stuff. We are talking about the heart. We are talking about the heart, man. We are talking about the heart, and that's what needs. That's what needs to be understood. You said not many guards in the NBA, unless you can really score or at least facilitating. But again, let's go back at it. Let's go ahead and tackle what you just said, Matt Moses. You can get better. When there's a will, there is a way. Bronny does have athleticism. Okay, he does have speed. He can play defense. Okay, like I told you, like I told everybody else, what he needs to do is go somewhere. Because let me tell you what Sebastian Telfair did. Okay, I want y'all to go watch that movie Through the Fire. I also want you to watch License to Lillard. That had to do with Dame Lillard. Okay? The reason why I want you to watch those is because Dame Lillard was under pressure because he had a lot of stuff working against him. Now, I'm not comparing Dame Lillard his game to Bronny James, but they're both little guys. Even though Bronny James is a little bit bigger, but the expectations, he didn't have high expectations. As a matter of fact, they weren't banking on the fact of Lillard even really making it because he went to Washington, and they were like, well, he went to Washington, he was only 6 foot and all that other stuff. So there were a lot of doubters. And then they also said the same thing with Sebastian Telfair. Sebastian Telfair, he still had a lot of, he faced a lot of criticism and stuff like that, saying that he, all he was a street baller and stuff like that. Well, with Sebastian Telfair, what he did, he went with his brother, and they went actually, uh, they trained somewhere. I think they flew somewhere, and they trained. He trained with his brother overseas, and they had to get away from the U.S. and everything so that they could it could be locked down, focused, doing nothing but training, making sure you eating right, getting the proper rest and stuff like that. Because you got to think about it, man. He's in Southern California. There's a lot of distractions in L.A. You got the women, like Stephen A. say all that dumb stuff about the palm trees and all that other stuff. It's a lot of distractions. And USC, man, let's just call it what it is, man. USC is a party school. I would get away from that. Get better. Stay in the weight room. Stay running. Stay conditioning. Of course, you got stay with your doctors and all of that. And he could come back averaging like 15, 16 points, lighting people up, getting in every league that you can, getting in all these little training with different NBA players, going with Rico Hines, going everywhere, going to pro everywhere, everything that you could think of that where he could play or whatever. Come back in a open gym, because that's the coaches are going to want to see what you look like. Okay, when you at the open gyms and stuff like that, and just come in there murdering people. Yeah, they do. They do. But what I'm saying is that they can get better. But you know what though, Matt Moses? I'm glad you're saying all of this, because um it's just like when they said Giannis couldn't win a title or whatever, or he'll never do this or he'll never do that. He ended up doing it, right? He ended up doubting that. I'm 6'2", but they were like, oh yeah, you wouldn't be able to play, you wouldn't be able to do this, and you wouldn't be able to do that. Sort of like what you're doing right now. But you know what I love the best? Is that I got a chance to be like, oh damn, I started. And like with with Bronny James, it would be sweet, sweet, sweet revenge if he comes out there and he starting, and then he gets in the NBA and he really starts killing. Because the stuff that you're saying is probably times 10, the level of criticism that he's receiving. I'm here to tell you, he did not have a training camp. He didn't have a training camp. Do you understand how vital and important a training camp is? He barely practiced. And you're talking about a guy that was just a little bit removed from damn near losing his life. So it's easy to sit up there and say, oh yeah, well, he can't do this and he can't do that and all this other stuff or whatever, when we're talking about a guy that has heart problems. And I know about heart problems because I had to sit out. It was my freshman year. My coach had made me sit out because I had heart murmurs. I had stuff like that went on in my family. Matter of fact, I had a friend that died on the floor, Matt Moses. He died on the floor because of what he had an overgrown heart. It was at Prairie View A&M. So that's nothing to play with. That's what I'm thinking about it. And I know y'all don't like LeBron like that. You know, y'all probably don't like him personally and stuff like that, even to go so as far as you place this stuff on his son. But me, I'm not going to do that. I'm here to tell you that I see Bryce as an NBA player possibly, okay, depending on where he plays. And I think that Bronny can get better. Okay, now is he quite ready at this point in time? No. But I'm saying with work, you never know what you can see. Because in the NBA, Matt Moses, they draft on what? They draft on potential. They draft on potential. Right, you don't see it yet, but like I'm saying, let's go back to again. We gonna keep on going back until it sinks in. If you put in the work, it can happen. Okay, what sport did you play, Matt Moses? What did you play? Basketball, football. What did you play? Cause I'm gonna be able to tackle this right now. Cause if you play basketball, you have to think. You have to understand that the game right now is like a track meet. So your conditioning is very important. Okay. He didn't have a chance to really get that conditioning that he wanted to, because he was just placed in a situation. He's going to a not a top level basketball school, but it's still a top school in USC. You got all these expectations on him that he got to play with his father because of his father and who he is. Okay, this guy damn near lost his life. Hadn't had a chance to really gel with the team to do any of that stuff. And then all of a sudden he gets in the game and stuff, and they want him to put up 20 and do this stuff and do all that other stuff. And then all of a sudden he don't do it. He gets benched. Everything is magnified on him. Do you know how much pressure that is? Meanwhile, all these other guys, they don't have that type of pressure on them. They don't have that type of pressure on them. That's just like right now. That's why, like, when everybody tries to come with this nonsense, talk about, oh yeah, DJ Burns, he can't excel in the NBA. Well, you got Jokic that thinks he can. You got NBA executives that think he can. You got college coaches that think he can. So what does that tell you? Stephon Marbury said that he sees him as an NBA player. Even though I disagree with it right now, but he said he saw potential in him. Okay, you play football. So let's go ahead and tackle that right now. You play football. All right? Picture yourself going to college. Okay? Picture yourself going to college. Let's say I know you done seen those documentaries, Last Chance U and all of that stuff, where they do the JUCOs and all that other stuff. Let's say you transfer, you're having to transfer constantly. You never can get acclimated with the team, but your talent level is through the roof. You got tape and film, whatever position that you play, you really excelled at. But everywhere that you go, you know, you're having to deal with all these challenges and stuff like that. And let's say you had an issue, one of your issues had to do with you internally, like your heart or something like that. And then they're making you sit out. They're making you go through tests. Oh, we got to run this test before you could play. You got to be on the sideline and stuff like that. Meanwhile, your skills are diminishing because you haven't been on the field. You haven't been able to gel with your teammates. You haven't been able to get out there in full pads or whatever. The only thing that you've been able to do is like do some treadmill work or stay in the weight room, which that's okay. But like everybody says, you have to actually play the game and you have to actually feel that contact. Well, you get out there and let's say they give you some burn and everything, but you barely got in there and you weren't able to do the two-a-days like you really wanted to. You barely got to gel with the team. and let's say you play like the running back position, which they it has little to no use anymore, and then all of a sudden you getting Ezekiel Elliott every time, and I say Ezekiel Elliott because he was he was always getting taking losses for yards and stuff like that. And they're like, "Oh man, Matt Moses, man, you ain't this and you ain't that or whatever. You were supposed to be in the NFL. You were supposed to be, the next, AP or the next Derrick Henry or something like that or whatever. This guy, man, he ain't nothing." And they're comparing you to, like, let's say, your big brother or your uncle or your father or whatever, and they were like hot shit, and you got all these level of expectations that you have to climb above. So you have to place yourself in Bronny James' shoes. That's the only thing that I'm saying. And to me, I felt like everything was so unfair on him. Now, I'm not saying that okay, we wish upon a star and automatically Bronny James is just going to hit 20 the next year or nothing like that. But all I'm saying is that this going into this offseason right here, Matt Moses, this is going to be one of the most important off seasons of his life. And as a matter of fact, I wouldn't even pay attention. I mean, I'll listen to what his dad says and everything, but right now, uh, I'm gonna be real with you, and some people might not want to hear this. Sometimes you gotta pull your parents or your family members into a room and have that one-on-one talk and be like, "Look, hey, pops, I know you want to play in the league with me and everything, but I don't feel that same way. My goals are different." You know what I'm saying? He's a grown man now. Now, LeBron did say when he was talking to the reporters in the locker room, he said that he's a grown man. He can make his own decisions, but he's got to realize that. Hold on one second, y'all. No, he's not talented. Not right now. But it's not okay. Um, is Cam from Marquette? Is he in billionaire shoes? No. Is Eddie Purdue? Is he in the billionaire shoes? No. Is DJ Burns is he in the billionaire shoes? No. Okay. So and who said that he wants to live he wants to live that particular way? Who said that? He might just want to do his own thing. Hold on 1 minute, y'all. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. You said I had. I kind of agree with Matt. It's nothing special about the kid. It's only because his son. I like the brother better than him. Everybody put on his pedestal. People feel sorry for him in his heart condition. I'm sorry that happened. Well, that's the thing. And see, this is great that you know because he y'all aren't the only one that's gonna doubt him. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a lot more doubters, a lot more people that are gonna say, it's gonna be a lot more naysayers. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty of sports. It's just like with Kaylin Clark. I doubted her, but guess what? She proved me wrong. What he has to do is uh, in order to uphold the expectations of him or whatever that they're placing upon him, he's just gonna have to get in there and he's gonna have to work. Uh, like if 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 he would have transitioned, the conversation would be much different that we're having in terms of his heart condition. And maybe y'all might not, feel any sympathy or anything like that. I feel sympathy for the fact of, okay, the him having that level of expectations placed upon him that are unfair off of the strength of only him having limited time. Okay, that right there, I'm like, okay, let's run it back. Okay, I'm gonna run it back. You got a full off season to get right. You know what I'm saying? To do what needs to be done. You're in one of the best environments for basketball that can be when we talk about SoCal, when we talk about California. You know why? You're around UCLA. You're around Poly Pavilion. You're around the Lakers facility. You're around Venice Beach. You're around Drew League. You're around Rico Hines. So let's run it back. And that's what I would say if I'm everybody else. Everybody, like I said, they're gonna say, "Yeah, the kid's not ready." I don't think he's ready either. But can he? Can he? If he works hard, can he be on an NBA roster? Yeah, if anybody can. Anybody can work hard and be on an NBA roster if they put their mind to it. And he's honestly in a. I'm not gonna say he's in a perfect position, but he's in a position now where, like, the risk for him becoming an NBA player is actually pretty good if he puts the talent with it, But that's just going to take hard work. Kobe Bryant didn't get success just from just his talent alone. He had to work hard to get to where he needed to be. And that's the same for a lot of other NBA players that are in the league. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could go down the list of players that weren't really all that good, like Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas, yeah, he was good in college and everything, but they told him that he wouldn't even receive no playing time when he got in there. But guess what? He exceeded expectations through hard work. Shout out to Gilbert Arenas. You know. Nah, nah, not at all, not at all. But um, feelings and emotions and stuff would be if we're cursing and all that other stuff and getting erratic and getting crazy. What I'm trying to get y'all to understand is that he had limited time. He had limited time, but like I said, um, I want him to succeed because we also have to realize what we're saying now. And um, he's listening to what people have to say, the critics, the naysayers, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's all he could do is just take those in and take it as constructive criticism, and then work hard at it. You know what I'm saying? Because he has the potential, just like Bryce has the potential, just like all these other players have potential. That's all I'm saying. But maybe I might sound crazy. I might, but I would sound even crazier if I said the guy was ready to go to the NBA. So, uh, but we can't sit here and just because we don't like LeBron and we don't necessarily too much care for LeBron that we automatically we're being cutthroat about about this guy. Because honestly, I don't really feel that way. I really feel like Bronny, with the hard work that he puts in, he could play on an NBA roster. But right now, he's not ready. But then again, that goes back to my original statement. Like I said, I'm not an NBA executive. I'm not a scout, and I'm not recruiting. But uh, yeah, my next subject that I'm gonna talk about is this situation with Angel Reese. I think that Angel Reese is she's being unfairly uh, criticized. Well, I don't think that they should have, because a lot of people have been sitting up here saying stuff about Angel Reese, and my question is this: is where are all the hardcore black feminists that are supposed to come to her defense? Where are they at? Because they sure do come to the defense of when somebody is disrespectful or something like that. But what about you know everybody else that's supposed to be coming to her defense when they are sending this young woman death threats and all of this stuff, which I think is, sometimes they take it beyond sports. People wanting to see, in a lot of people's eyes, a child, because that's when I see her, because she's younger than me. I really see her still as a child. Not that she is a child; she's a grown woman. But the thing about it, what we have to understand is that this is a competitive sport. What she did was no different than Johnny Manziel doing the money sign, or Dame Lillard doing, talking about Dame time with his wrist, or what's his name, Carmelo Anthony doing shots to the dome or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how come they don't sit there and they're not sending those guys death threats, or talking about those guys, you, pervertically, or any of that stuff. So why are you going to do it to Angel Reese when they're just competing? And I'm glad Joy Taylor had really put that out there. Salute to Joy Taylor for coming to her defense, because that's what a lot of other women, should have done. Angel Reese is just she's just a competitive person, just like Cheryl Miller was back in the day, just like all those ladies were. But off the court, she said that she doesn't have any issues with Caitlin Clark. She actually likes Caitlin Clark. Now I don't think they're best of friends or none of that stuff, but when you're inside of those lines, you're supposed to compete that way. But you've never seen her on social media go at Caitlin Clark and try to say this or try to say that about her, anything personal or anything like that. And of course they're gonna make it a race. They're gonna make it a race thing because it's always black and white involved and stuff. But uh, let's just be real. Caitlin Clark can hoop, and I was wrong. I, a lot of people were wrong. There were a lot of people. They were under the assumption that Caitlin Clark was not going to beat a whole bunch of black women because of how they got blown out the previous year. But she came back and she worked hard. She was dedicated. She was still even doubted by myself. You know what I'm saying? I was doubting her, but I'm able to give credit to what credit is due. And she came out there and she balled out. Angel Reese said that she said to go ahead and win it. She gave it her respect. They dapped it up. So why are y'all getting mad at a young woman that's just expressing her emotions for crying and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? She still is a human being and all that other stuff. What is she? More physical. Now the girl from South Carolina, last time I checked, she was the one that came up and shoved that girl to the ground. How come they're not criticizing her? They're not criticizing Don Staley. Right. Well, I know. I'm just talking about myself. I know. I doubted Caitlin Clark. You know, like I don't know about y'all. I doubted her though. You know what I'm saying? Because I said that she couldn't put the ball on the floor. She clearly proved me wrong. I said that she couldn't create. She clearly proved me wrong, and I said that she was going to struggle, and she clearly proved me wrong. And she shot well too. So and that goes back, with Bronny James. Uh, see, with Bronny James, he could come out, man, and like right now, his best thing to do, how his father stayed off of social media during the playoffs and all that stuff, how LeBron stayed off of social media and all that other stuff. That's the best thing he could do. Stay off of social media. Stay off of social media and come back when it's time for the game to be televised. And then when them lights is on, then go ahead and perform. Until then, man, get in that lab, man. Get in that lab and write it down, take a picture because like all the stuff that he's all the criticism that he taken, like he wouldn't be able to play, he doesn't have that type of talent, all that other stuff. Write it down, take a picture of it. It's kind of like when with the whole Lizzo situation, or somebody that's take constantly being bullied at school because of the way that they look or something like that. Write it down, take a picture. If this person tells you, "Oh yeah, I look this way," or "Your personality is like this," or "You'll never be able to do that," or "You'll never have no friends," or something like that, write it down, take a picture. You know what I'm saying, and come back and improve on that stuff. That's the only thing that he can do, and that's pretty much in life. But like I said, uh, with the whole Angel Reese thing, she gonna learn from it. She's still a young. People act like these these young men and women are in their 30s or in their 40s. No, they're not even old enough to drink yet. So they still got to grow. They still got to learn. They still got to mature. They still got to have some life experience. You know, but some people don't. Some people don't see it that way. And when you live in a microwave society, unfortunately, that's those are some of the things that they expect you. They expect you to be perfect right away. They expect you to. They expect you to be, because you're an NBA, you're son of an NBA player, and the media has already hyped you up to a level of expectation. They expect you to be a number one pick or something like that. And then if and then your attention span is like, you know what? Forget about that guy. You know what I'm saying? When that's a microwave mentality, or they expect Angel Reese to, just get over it real quick or whatever. Man, this girl just was one game from going to the final four. They are the defending champion. They lost on the most viewed game in history on ESPN at 12.3 million in front of a national stage. You, hell yeah, she deserved to be hurt. And Kaylin Clark, she deserved to be hurt the year before last. She got beat by the quote unquote villain. And I don't mind a villain role. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna do a villain role, if you're gonna go against the grain, be good at it. Be good at it. I don't mind, if you gotta take, the criticism and stuff like that, just be good at it. Be good at what you're doing. Angel Reese, she excelled at it. Now it's just time to go ahead and move on to the next chapter in her life. But I stand by this though. That stuff that they're saying about her is is really unfair to her. Like with the death threats and all that other stuff, and even the racial stuff, and you know, uh, she's a bad look on black women. Nah, Fan Willis is a bad look on black women. That mayor that was doing what she did, she's a bad look on black women. Not somebody that's actually trying to do something productive in society and competing, you know what I'm saying, playing a sport like basketball where she could create generational wealth, you know what I'm saying? But you talking about a lady, you know what I'm saying, that's supposed to be uh, doing some good in the community, but she just as bad as the criminals. So yeah, I think she's being unfairly criticized with some of the stuff. Now I think I had somebody yesterday come up to me and say, "Oh yeah, she had no reason to be crying and stuff like that." But I'm like, "Well, what if that was your daughter, man? What if that was your daughter? What was that? What if that was your niece or something like that?" And they were saying stuff to her like that. You'd be looking at it completely different. And all these people that sit there and consistently talk, "Oh yeah, well, she needs to get over it. She, she's a grown woman. Da, 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 da. She still got feelings. She still got feelings just like everybody else, and she never threatened anybody. She never said, oh, she was gonna come and beat Kaylin Clark's ass or nothing like that. She never said any of that. None of what she did perpetuated any type of violence. None of what she said perpetuated any type of violence, and it was really unnecessary. This is just some competitive feel that she had. And Kaylin Clark, at the end of the day, what she did is I imagine what she was doing was playing this game over and over again in her head, playing the memes because it's all over social media. Everywhere you look, about her pointing to her ring finger and all that other stuff. That's not a bad meme. Now, if she would have said, did something offensive or something like that, then I could understand. I probably wouldn't have. I wouldn't even be riding for Angel Reese like that. But this was nothing more than what Dame Lilliard does and some of these other guys do when they taunt people. But you don't see them guys getting no death threats or none that we know about. So yeah, salute to both of them, man. I Bronny James, he does make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I like for when people bounce back, man. You know, he just him being able to walk again. Cause I'm gonna be real with you. I never wanted Bronny James to step foot back on the floor again. I didn't even want him to play again. But I said if he is gonna play, let's see what he can do. He didn't have that great of a season. Run it back. You didn't do good this year. Run it back. Run it back. You don't have nothing but time on your side either. You got plenty of time. You're not 30, you ain't 40. You ain't even 25 yet. You know how much time that is? By the time he get 22, 23, yeah, I mean, yeah, she is. In a lot of y'all eyes, I mean, me myself personally, I don't look at her like that. You know what I'm saying? But um, to each is their own. You know what I'm saying? She's a young woman and probably desirable to a lot of y'all. But all I'm saying is she needs to um, she needs to have more support, especially from our brothers and our sisters out here. You know what I'm saying? They already looking at her as a. Of course, when you're a beautiful woman, it's natural for them to look at you as because she is a sex symbol. But that's the generation that we live in. We live in a social media age. I, I don't like the fact that they call them what did they call them uh, debutantes. I didn't like that. I didn't like that statement. And that right there, you know what I'm saying? It's always every time you got black women involved or whatever, it's always some stereotype that we walk in, and black men too. So but yeah, man, like I said, when it and I'm gonna be on the watch for Bronny James. Um, when he starts progressing and he really starts, getting better. Because I had, as a matter of fact, I had a friend, I had like two friends. This dude, he didn't play a lick of basketball at all. I mean, he tried to play and everything, and he wasn't that tall. And I think I came back because I went somewhere for the summer, and I had came back or whatever, man. And it was like my junior year, It was like my junior year, man. He didn't play no basketball between my freshman and sophomore year. Man, this dude had shot up to like had to be about 6'4", and he was coming down. I didn't even recognize him. I think he was like 5'9" or something like that. Wasn't really that tall, and people used to talk about him. They would be like, "Man, get off the floor." One of the guys, I think he threw a ball at him or something like that, man, and walked off the floor. Next thing you know, man, he come back, and this dude is in my. This dude is running with the varsity. This dude coming down murdering dudes, and this was the guy that they were picking on. This was the guy that they were talking trash about. This was the guy that they were saying, man, you need to go lock yourself in the gym and get better, stuff like that, man. Wasn't pulling no females. He wasn't getting no women. He wasn't getting no girls and none of that stuff. All of a sudden, this dude, man, that's what his name was. His name was Sinclair too. That's what his name was, Sinclair. I remember that guy, and they used to pick on him all the time, man. Now I'm not saying that that's what Bronny's going through, but like I said, it's listen. I think Bryce is better. They're not talking about Bryce, and I love the fact too that they're not talking about Bryce because he's getting all this attention and stuff like that. Meanwhile, like I said, you're building up a Frankenstein in Bryce, and both of them could potentially come back, man, and start murdering because I mean they got the genetics, man. They got something running in their blood. They could do something. Now I don't know if they'll be as great as their father is. Now that I don't see happening. But I definitely want Bronny James to get in that gym this summer, man, and work like he's never worked before. But yeah, man, I done talked my ish long enough. Make sure y'all like the video, share it, subscribe, hit them notifications too. Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. I'm gonna get at y'all later.